Let me get it on my phone before we get started. Should be live. There we go. We get started. Bet. All right. Should I record it or? So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the live stream, and then I'm gonna record while we're doing the tortilla talk, and then I'll post the tortilla talk as a short video.
That sounds good.
I think that works. And it looks like audio's working. Audio working? So what I'm gonna do?
No.
Yep, audio's working. All right, cool. Let's get started. All right. And welcome back to this week's talk for Texas Tech. Welcome to Mad Sports Talk. You got Mason Pierce, top left corner. You got Sam Ulrich over in the top right. You got me, AJ Douglas, here down at the bottom. And then JT is not joining us this week because he will be joining the Texas Tech Red Raiders in Arizona for Arizona State versus Texas Tech. So wish him the best of safe travels all the way to Tempe. But show must go on kind of style. So we got some ideas that JT brought up to our group chat this whole week. So he'll still be here even though he's not officially on the call. But overall, we didn't do a recap. Anything y'all want to touch up on last week's win? Or y'all just want to go straight into talking about the tortillas? Because, yeah, we are going to the tortilla might be cooked. We'll see. We'll see what's going to go on with Big 12.
It may be pretty burnt and stale and just non-existent at this point. For all the people out there that may not know or may not be, just big in Texas Tech circle or whatnot, the Big 12 issued 2 fines after Saturday's game against Kansas, one to Tech and one to Kansas, both for $25,000. Tech's was due to repeated offenses of the new rule that they had voted in 15-1 back in August. That was pretty much stating, Tech could not throw tortillas the entire game. It pretty much was going to get limited to one time. I think it was like was it 2 or 3 guys?
It was 2 warnings.
2 warnings.
You would get 1 warning. We were gonna sacrifice that one at our kickoff, and then we had our second one, which was gonna come later on in the game, where they were telling us just not to do it, but we have it just in case.
Okay, I couldn't remember, but I figured it was that. Everything honestly was not too crazy with tortillas. Kansas's head coach Lance Leipold had a really, really bad day in terms of just the gameplay and apparently tortillas. That seemed to be all he could talk about. Obviously, the biggest scandal of the weekend was the infamous pocket knife apparently being thrown from the Texas Tech student stands. However, that was debunked by video that was provided by Tech's athletic director, Kirby Hocutt. And yeah, it's been just a wild weekend. And to make things even better for Tech fans, we got news on Tuesday from, once again, Kirby, that the Big 12 was now readjusting that rule that they made back in August. Now, instead of it just being 2 warnings and then you just get penalties and there wasn't really any fines that were involved, I don't think, in any of the bylaws or whatnot of that rule. Now it's official. Tech or any school, this doesn't just appeal to Tech, they will get 1 warning that will be addressed by the PA announcer, whenever that is. And then after that, any time that an object is thrown on the field or the playing surface, so not just inside the sidelines, it is literally the air, the grass around. So for Oklahoma
if it's
State,
even where the cheerleaders stand, if it hits turf at all, it is a penalty.
It is. Yeah, it is insane. And like I said, Oklahoma State fans, you won't have to worry because your sidelines are practically right beside the stands, so you'll be good. But for Tech, this is huge. And then to make it even worse, to add a little bit of salt and a pretty big gashing wound, it's now a $100,000 fine on top of every time you do it.
Yeah,
that may be true. I haven't seen anything that says the fine is repeated for each penalty or incident, but Yeah, it's been a very wild week. AJ, I think you have the clip that I sent you
Yeah, I'm pulling
of
it. I'm getting
Kirby
it
in his
pulled up. So
press.
give me a quick second. But yeah, no, it is. It is. Yeah, we had a press conference talking about the whole situation, which I think it's. Yeah, I'll let y'all get onto that because
Yeah,
it's distracting me trying to find the clip right now.
no, you're good. I want to ask you,
Yeah.
Sam, like your personal thoughts. Is this something that is going to continue to get even worse in terms of like the fans doing it? Because obviously, as we all know, being tech students, our fan base is extremely rowdy. So, do you think this is something that could really impact tech home games, especially with BYU coming up here in a few weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just something that there's no really right answer to go about. The Big 12 felt like they had to do something about it. Which, the rule, the 15-1, the rule was still there. It was just a vote to, are they actually going to enforce the rule? Which,
Yeah.
is it in spite of the fact that Tech spent a good chunk of NIL money, they're trying to get back at them? Is it really a safety concern? If you're
I mean,
just
it's a
throwing,
tortilla.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of students, will freeze the tortillas and they'll ball them up and throw them. And then, it can lead into start throwing other objects like, beer cans, buzz balls, potentially a pocket knife. You can put anything in a tortilla and throw it out there. So then it does
Absolutely.
become a safety issue. Like, they're getting real strict. And then what do you do as, a tech athletics? Do you just,
I mean, they've been endorsing it this whole time, but do they have to get rid of the endorsement?
That's the thing is that where they got to figure out. They got
time a tortilla is
a
thrown
week
on
and a
the
day to
field.
figure out what they want to do. It's gonna be tough. I don't know. It looks awesome. It makes Tech unique. Tech really has to be unique because everybody thinks we're out in the middle of nowhere. Nothing to do in Lubbock is what the perception is. That's why we embrace the oil rigs outside the stadiums, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture of Texas Tech, but you really don't want to come at the expense of the penalties. The grand scheme of things didn't matter in the Kansas game, but it felt like they could have. When it got to 21-17, that first one you're up 21-0, you're like, okay, oh well. But then pushes it back. We're putting in our own end zone. And, Burgess couldn't have gotten, he could have gotten more time had it not had the 15-yard penalty. You would have started at your whatever 20 or 25. Now you're backed up at the 10 and kicking from your own end zone, and that's what kind of sparked the Kansas run. Now, Oklahoma State won't really matter if you get a 15-yard penalty. Probably not. You still don't want them. And now with the BYU game is what you got circled. Now this is something I was thinking of is, it was a 6 o'clock start for Kansas. People got more time in the day to get, pregame.
Yeah.
Say BYU's an 11 o'clock game, like, probably won't be as bad. But, there needs to be some more definement, like, when does the penalty get thrown? Like 5 tortillas, 20 tortillas? Like, what if it's just one? Like, anybody can throw one tortilla. So it's going to be interesting. It's something they haven't had to deal with as much now. It's grown so much, especially when team's good. So I think that's also had to play into it, is that you have sold out every game at home this season. And it's easier to sneak the tortillas in. It's hard to you really can't stop people bringing them in. Like that's going to be the issues. You can't hey man, I need a full strip search here. Like you just can't do that. So it's going to be like last year when the Colorado game, when Joey got on the mic, like Joey got booed whenever people told him to stop, like when he's told the students to stop throwing stuff on the field.
Yep.
There's no way. If you tell the students to throw them, they're going to throw them. If you don't tell them to throw them, they're going to throw them. So it's how much, I guess, the other students around them, can you hold these people accountable? I feel like it's more of a student. I know it's not just the students that throw them. You got to be like, hey man, this is. I like what Coach McGuire said in his press conference. Like it's bigger than you now. Like you're making it about yourself if you're throwing them after the first kickoff.
And I agree with Joey when Kansas coach came over to Joey and started yelling at Joey. Joey just comes over and is like, or he defends himself, and he's like, "What do you want me to do? I mean, what is Joey gonna do?"
Exactly.
It's the students, the fan base. I mean, you're telling them to stop, but they're still gonna do it because it's been a tradition. It's a tradition that everybody's known, and even Kirby said in his conference, which I finally got the video of. He even said, it's not really the students; it's both the alumni and the students because it's a tradition.
Yeah.
No.
I just think if you could get it to the first, the first kickoff, that's great. Like, hey, you get your one warning and then you're done. Like, if in a perfect world, that's how it'd be. But
But
even if you have 1,000 people that don't throw it, it takes one person.
Like I said, I think I finally got it up. So why don't we go ahead and I'll show the clip real quick to everybody. Take us out of the studio mode real quick, and I'll get this playing. But yeah, it's what the words we got from Kirby, our athletic director.
There's a PA announcement that's required.
Hold on, let me restart it.
The first time a tortilla is thrown on the field, there's a PA announcement that's required as a warning. The second time a tortilla is thrown on the field, and they changed it. It's not the field, it's the playing enclosure. So even if it hits the sideline, if it hits behind the end zone, if it's in the playing enclosure, that second strike, it's a 15-yard penalty and a $100,000 fine.
There it is. So, Mason, I'll let you do most of the talking on that. You were the one who watched the full interview. I was out busy. I had soccer practice, so I missed the interview. I missed the whole thing. So, Mason, why don't you give your thoughts on what it sounded like from Kirby, what it sounded like from the students, because it was open to the students. He wanted to hear what we had to say about it.
For sure. The one thing that I think all of us as Tech students and Tech fans can applaud Kirby is he has a fan-first mindset, right? I think very much so Tech has been very big on being student-oriented and kind of keeping us involved in everything. And just by, watching the video and, actually watching his press release, you could tell the body language and all that was kind of like I legally have to do this type of thing. It wasn't really like I want to, or this is a rule that we want to follow, but it's kind of hey, our athletic department is going to suffer if we don't, because $100,000, and yes, I know we have some of the most money and backing in all of the country. $100,000 is still a lot. That is pretty much travel expenses for football for an away game.
And
you got to think of it in that aspect.
I'll hop on real quick. Just that last game alone with Kansas, that would have been $200,000 if this rule was implemented before. Then let's do it in Oklahoma State. We're going to get a good fine on Oklahoma State because I have a feeling fans are going to be mad and it's going to be a protest. Thumbs up. I didn't know that's a thing. But they're going to be mad in Oklahoma State, so we'll probably end up with 300. We'll probably with 3. I have a feeling we'll start off with 3. So that's $300. I mean, there's $500,000 right there in 2 games, especially these first 2. So.
Yeah, and honestly though, there's a little bit of bias in this statement, but I feel like Tech fans and just the administration and all that right now is just so beyond furious at the fact that this rule is pretty much targeted for us because we do not have another school in our conference that has a tradition of throwing stuff on the field.
I don't think anybody does.
And 9 times out of you said what?
I don't think anybody does. I think we're the only ones who has the tortilla tradition.
Yeah, but this is more of a thing that if this was already established back in August and they had a firm guideline, kind of piggybacking what Sam said a little bit earlier about this actually being structured and it not being kind of on a whim, because right now it feels like next week this rule could end up being the second a tortilla is thrown or an object is thrown, it's going to be a $200,000 fine, right?
Yeah.
Or it's going to be something outrageous like Tech gets some type of punishment from it. So I think right now it's just a lot of confusion and a lot of frustration just from the fact that why are you doing this now? You should have done this back in 94, 96 when Tech students first started doing it, right? This shouldn't be something that's just addressed now. And it's only being addressed because a couple of head coaches have gotten butt hurt, Dion and Lance, at the fact that tortillas were thrown on the field. Mind you, this has never been an issue outside of a few incidents, outside of like obviously, people thinking we throw batteries and stuff or, frozen tortillas and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and to kind of give this into comparison to some other fan bases and what this is for us, it's like Mississippi State and the Cowbells. It's pretty much like the SEC stepping in and going, hey, the decibel rate's getting a little bit too loud. Players are struggling with communication. It's kind of giving a bad, atmosphere for some fans. So you got to limit it to just the kickoff. Like, you can only ring cowbells at the kickoff.
And
you know what I mean? Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the interview between ABCs, I want to say it was, that they kicked a 9-year-old out of U of H, or they were trying to kick him out at the U of H game because they brought tortillas and threw them onto the field. And everybody around there was like, yeah, we're at a U of H game, but it's Texas Tech tradition. I get we got to respect being an away game. But at the same time, it was like, that was a neutral site game for the most part. There was so many fan base, or so many Tech fans that threw the tortilla. Why are you targeting a 9-year-old? So that was a bad look on U of H there. But
yeah, I agree. I think all of us have made really good points about this situation. I mean, there's not really much any more we can say on it because I feel like this is going to be something we're going to have to address next week because it's probably going to change going into family weekend with OSU because everybody and their mother is going to be here for that game just because of family weekend. And it's kind of like a second homecoming pretty much for us.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's going to happen next week, to be honest.
It's going to be crazy. What are
we going to do? Are we going to either are we going to attack this ruling as a fan base, or are we going to sit down and let it be? And I don't see us sitting it down.
Just let it go. Like, we just need to just abide by the damn rules for now, and then we'll figure stuff out later. But, I think we've covered the tortilla stuff pretty good right now. Let's kind of move on a little bit and we'll just kind of briefly go over it because this is what we would have done for back on like Tuesday. The AP Top 25. Early thoughts, Sam? What are you kind of feeling?
It's getting better. Let me pull up the AP poll. I wasn't ready. It's on me.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, but I mean, it's weird seeing Tech all the way at 7. Like, I think it's the highest we've been ranked since 2008. So
yeah, it is.
But it's I think Ole Miss loses this weekend to Georgia. I think they're the most overrated team in the top 10. LSU, apparently they're not favored against Vanderbilt, which is kind of shocking. It's at Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's like 2.5-point favorites.
Oh, we love Vanderbilt.
You love Vanderbilt for some reason. For some reason.
Nope, that is 100% my team of the year. I don't care what happens.
I'm not sure why. But I mean, the SEC obviously gets as much credit as possible. Like, AP poll loves the SEC. My opinion, I think Utah should be a lot higher.
Agreed.
If we talk about your one loss is to right now the number 7 team in the country.
Yeah.
And you're ranked 23. And I don't know if they have a game that they won by single digits. Like, I think every game's been, double-digit wins, it feels like.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, it makes Tech look that much better. And, right now they're in a good spot to make the CFP. I still think Tech gets in with 1 loss, even 2 losses if they make it to the championship. Like, if they lose in that. But if they're already... So we'll see. Week 10, I think, is when the CFP poll starts coming out. And that's what really matters is where are you in the college football playing rankings.
Yeah. Where are you when it matters the most is the real statement.
Yeah. The thing is, like, who really cares to who you lost to week 1? Like, that's why Alabama's already back ahead of us.
Yeah.
If you want to lose week 1, 2, or 3. Like, you want to lose later in the season. Like, later in the season losses look worse than earlier in the season losses. So.
Yeah.
I agree. AJ, what are you thinking right now?
I'm honestly not against it. I know you guys were really mad when the poll first got posted in the group chat. But I feel like it was fair, and it was kind of what we all predicted. I think after Saturdays, after all the upsets that were caused, I think it was basically what I was predicting. Like seeing Indiana in top 3 wasn't really surprising to me. A&M, good to see them up in number 4 now. The one I will defend with all my life right now is Notre Dame being 13. Their 2 losses are the 2 teams that are up at the top. It was Texas A&M and Miami were their 2 losses, and both games were close. I don't think you can punish them too much. Maybe 13's a little high, but I'm also looking at some of the teams that are below them. Oklahoma just had that loss to Texas, which don't know what's going on with Texas. BYU, I still think probably Notre Dame could hold its own against BYU, Missouri, and all these teams. I think it's fair to keep them at 13.
Notre Dame's about to win, though.
Huh?
That's the thing. Like, BYU's won all their games, and they're getting punished because Notre Dame played 2 close games. Like, what's their best win? NC State? NC State? Like, they don't have a good win. Right?
Let me pull up
Notre Dame doesn't have a good win.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing to kind of debunk because I see it from both sides.
Yeah.
Like, especially as a fan, because you look at it and you're
their wins here are all like 30 plus. Maybe, and the only one that's not is Boise State. So they're doing their job against a weaker opponent. And then they've been 4-point loss between these 2 games combined.
Yeah, and once again, like I see it from both of y'all's perspectives because, once again, I think Notre Dame is a pretty solid team. They're really young in some aspects, and I think that's what hurt them early on. But also, if we're going based off just how college football has been historically, even before the playoff and like the BCS system, it's always been if you lose like 2 games, you've pretty much never been considered for like a New York 6 or even a Natty, right?
See, but keep in mind we're at the point now where there's so much parity that losses don't hurt you as bad as they used to.
Yeah, and like Sam said, like with BYU, right? Like they've cleaned their slate. They're 6-0.
Yeah.
You know, why should a team that's had 2 hypothetical losses, right? In terms of, well, if they could have won this way or they could have won that way, but you know, you look at the record and it says 4-2. So it's like, how are you supposed to put them above a team that's 6-0 and is also in a power conference and who has done okay? And obviously BYU probably should have gotten beaten by Arizona on Saturday, if we're going to be honest. So I think that is kind of one thing that helps Notre Dame a little bit is the fact that those teams, AJ, like you said, beneath them have definitely struggled and have shown, in my opinion, more weaknesses than Notre Dame has. So it's one of those things where you have the standpoint of you just look at stats and you look at records and you're like, okay, well, they shouldn't be in. But then you watch actual film and watch actual games and you go, okay, this is definitely a playoff team. Yeah. And then the one thing that for Notre Dame's luck, they don't play in a conference championship game. So they can't possibly get, you know, a 3rd loss outside of the postseason unless it's in the playoff or a bowl game. And the one thing I'm like really curious about is at the end of the year, you know, how is Notre Dame going to be truly judged? Because what if, you know, A&M has a major collapse? Because historically, that's what they do. Or, you know, with Miami, right? With, you know, now that they're finally starting to – and they've played some really great teams this year. But, they're back into the schedule as a breeze. Never mind. But, yeah, I see it from both sides. And, yeah. So,
just think, I think it has a lot to do with, the brand. If that's,
for sure,
I don't know, a Mississippi State that lost to Miami and A&M and then didn't have their best win, would you say their best win's NC State or Boise State? If that's you're halfway through the season and that's your best win, the thing is,
I mean, they've got USC this week. They have a ranked opponent coming up. So we'll see how they do against a ranked opponent
USC,
not in the top 4.
USC.
Yeah, it's in South Bend too.
If it's they're at home. If they take care of business, then I won't hate on the ranking too much. But they could jump to top 10.
That's what scares me. Yeah, I agree with that part.
Hey, looking at the matchup predictor, we got a 70% Notre Dame. And then, of course, with it being in South Bend, that's going to help out.
Yeah.
Stick out if they lose.
Yeah. For Tech's sake, I'm hoping Notre Dame doesn't perform because I have a feeling somehow they would jump us because of how weak our schedule's been this year. That they were because it's Bama. That's why Bama's above us right now with 1 loss. which I think is insane. But it's, it kind of goes to that argument like that Sam's bringing up, that the brand exposure, right? Okay, we'll put it like this: a 12-1 Bama team that won the SEC is gonna get in my opinion, over a 12-1 Tech team that lost in their conference championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where you got to look at it from that angle, and this is where it really benefits Notre Dame because they don't have that hypothetical situation. So, but yeah, I think both of y'all made extremely good points with that, and I think once again, rankings are always going to piss somebody off. I think we just all have to accept that fact. Because, I mean, I feel like as those Tech fans, we should be really irate that Ole Miss is still above us after their game against Wazoo on Saturday. I mean, AJ, I know we talked about it during the weekend. You know, that was one thing that I really struggled to see how they only dropped one spot.
I mean,
I would put.
But
Bama
the counter,
over them right
you guys
now.
are talking about a win, and so that's a win, or a win is a win for that. So, I mean, they still ended up with the win. Yeah, it was 3 points to Wazoo, but I mean, can't drop them too much.
I'm just using both logics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm using both sides of this, like, because technically, by the way that the rankings are, which is by having good wins and I guess at this point good losses. Ole Miss had one of the worst wins of the year, in my opinion. They were 32.5 favorites over Wazoo. 32.5. And they barely, and I mean, they scraped by a team that if we look at just their schedule and the games that they've lost, they barely beat Idaho by 3. They lost to North Texas by 49. They lost to Washington by 30. They only beat Colorado State, who's one of the worst FBS teams as well, by 17. I mean, it was in Oxford. It wasn't like, in the Pacific Northwest where we lost last year. So, yeah, I don't know. The rankings are definitely, in my opinion, more well-balanced, and there's not as many kind of like oddballs, but that was definitely one that I didn't really agree with too much.
We'll also
Excuse me.
quickly talk about James Franklin losing the job at Penn State after 2 bad losses in a row. UCLA and Northwestern last week. So James Franklin's gotten the boot after 2 bad losses.
Yeah.
Penn State's calling for his head. Wasn't able to win in the big games and didn't help it out that the one time they need him to win these weak opponents, he wasn't able to do the job. So Penn State fired James Franklin. Who else did we have lose last week? Michigan lost to... Why am I drawing a blank? Who did Michigan lose to?
USC. They got blown out by USC.
USC. Illinois
Did they
lost
lose last week too.
Ooh, Illinois got dropped out. I didn't even realize that.
Illinois banned.
Yeah, they're
3 losses, right? I mean, have they maybe one?
I think it's 2. I want to say it's 2.
They had the I know the Indiana lost.
Ohio
Did they beat
State.
USC?
So
They did.
they have 2
They did.
losses, and their losses was to Ohio State and Indiana. And then they barely beat
If you're a ranked
USC.
team, you should not lose by 50 to Indiana.
Yeah.
Right? They lose by like 50.
Well, but if Indiana's
yeah,
ranked
they lost
3rd,
by-
I mean,
they're
Ohio
scary,
State and
man.
Indiana right there, those aren't 2 bad losses. I don't know.
Hey, you're right. Then in your logic, they should be ranked right behind Notre Dame then.
Top 15. Put it. Stamp it.
I
Illinois.
mean,
top
I'm looking.
15
They beat
right
USC, so
Give-
but it's still
give me the
close. So
fighting
put it-
line.
It's a
up.
great example. Like, they have 2 good
now.
losses.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Well, besides the Indiana
it's not
loss,
just-
besides the Indiana loss, I agree. The
but
Ohio
they're
State one.
the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah, but they
Well,
lost
but
by
the fact-
50 to number 3. It's
Oh.
so with Notre Dame. I'm saying it's because it's close. Like those were a 1-point game. Texas A&M literally came down to the last play of the game.
Yeah, it's the snapper's fault because he messed up the hold.
So I'm just.
They
But
kept on showing him. I
But
felt bad for
with
the guy.
Illinois, they lost to the Buckeyes, who was ranked 1st, but lost by 15, and then they lost to Indiana by 50. And so if you want to rank them at 20,
Well,
25, that's fine. But
Shouldn't be ranked. They haven't done anything.
no, they're fine. They're fine being
Yes.
not ranked. I'm just
Yeah.
saying if you. I'm saying
Well, they have a
you're
better
calling
win. They have a
my
better win than Notre
logic.
Dame, actually. That's my bad. They have a better win than Notre Dame. They have a USC win.
Well,
We'll see how Notre Dame USC goes this weekend.
yeah, they would have a common opponent.
You show me the same resumes, and you don't tell me, hey, like this. A loss is a loss, man. They lost to number 1 and number 3. Notre Dame lost to number 4 and number 2. The resumes are very comparable. You put on a blank. I don't care how much you lose by. That gets skewed very easily.
I wanted to cut in real quick, and I'm just looking at Penn State and their record, or they're not the record, their schedule for the next 4 weeks. They're at Iowa this week. They're at Ohio State the week after. They have Indiana at home the week after that.
Oh,
and then they're at Michigan State the week after that. And then they got Nebraska at home the week after that.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
They're going to win out.
They may not make a bowl game. I'm serious. I don't think they make a bowl game. What do we just
change our whole motto, Mason. We talk about how interim coaches come in and they do so good. That's JT's thing.
Yeah, I agree. But the only thing is once again, shout out to UCLA and what they're doing right now, because oh my God, there's a world where they may make a bowl game and Penn State won't. Yeah. Like right now, it is insane to think that, but this could very much happen. And for Penn State,
UCLA's got 4 ranked opponents coming up.
I mean, so what they did to Penn State, shit.
Yeah, but they got Ohio State and Indiana. I think those 2 teams are real. I don't think those are fake.
Let's go Bruins. Let's go Bruins. Come on. We need that upset over Ohio State, please.
Okay, I'm not giving you the Ohio State one. You can get the Nebraska. You can get the USC. You're not getting the Buckeyes.
Ohio State's not good, dude. They're fraud.
Okay.
Worst number 1 team I've seen ever.
It's just, man. Yeah, I don't know, but Penn State, I feel for elite rage.
I'm on a hate watch right now,
dude. No, it's just, man. I hate the Big Ten as a whole. Just personally being a Big 12 person, I hate the Big Ten because I think they complain about how the Big 12 isn't really that good, and we only have like 1 team that's good. But when you look at their conference, outside of Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon, who else do they got? I mean, you can say
Oregon's
USC.
Really not a Big Ten team.
Ohio State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ohio State, Indiana, currently. If we're counting historically, we got to get Michigan in there. The team up north.
I'm talking about this season. This season.
Just this season? Then it's Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Yeah. But I'm saying if we're talking historically, you got to add Michigan and you got to add Penn State. I think that's.
But I feel like Penn State's
really
more
good
known
back in the day.
Hey, Army though. Why Army was a dynasty.
Missouri. I mean, they used to be in the Big 12. They count.
That's true.
Well, they're now SEC though.
Man,
give me. Let's see. We think about it. UCF won a national championship not too long ago. So
they did. 2017.
Okay. I know about that one. The fake win.
No, it's real. It's real. They went 13-0, and they beat Auburn in the what was it? The Peach Bowl, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the Chick-fil-A, the Peach Bowl.
Yeah. So we saw Auburn claim like 9 in the off season. I don't know if y'all saw that, but
I heard about it.
Auburn, yeah, they claimed like 9 national championships. So, anyway, we got to keep it going. We got to keep it moving. So let's go on to this weekend's schedule. As today being Friday, we've got a pretty decent slate of games. Sam, I'll let you kick it off because we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Some of the games we got to look forward to tonight, at least.
I feel like the big one is the Miami Louisville game. It's at Hard Rock, I believe. So.
Yeah.
And tickets were cheap. Doesn't surprise me.
Tickets are at low $16.
Week, so they're coming off the bye. I think they didn't have the game, so
yeah.
It's always interesting how a team comes off a bye week. You don't play for 2 weeks. We saw Tech coming off the bye week. They look great. Well, they look shaky. It's the Houston game. The defense always looks good for Tech, but I feel like ACC Friday night games kind of scare me for the good teams. When we saw Florida State lose to Virginia, they are at home, but it's really at home. Like, it's far away from campus, NFL stadium. I could see it being kind of close, but Miami has looked dominant in all the games they've played. Taking care of business against Florida. They took care of business against Notre Dame. They're battle tested. I don't think Florida State really was battle tested. They played a week 1 Alabama team at home. That was the first ACC road game for them. So ACC is very interesting. There's some sneaky good teams. I mean, JT's very big on Georgia Tech, and I'm really not. So
hey, they could get upset this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little
they
bit.
play Duke, right?
Yeah, they're at Duke.
I think
Duke's been on a heater lately. I mean, past like
scary.
4 games. Yeah.
See what else?
Sorry, Sam. You keep it going. You keep it going. You're covering Friday. Yeah,
I'll let you. All right. What else? There's
Come on, Sam.
There's some multiple games. We talk about the North Carolina game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tonight at 9:30.
9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern.
In California.
A ACC after dark.
Having to literally fly all the way across the country for that one game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
done, man.
Man, I feel so bad for
conference.
I feel so bad for the teams that play like 2 times, 3 times a week, like soccer and all of them. They gotta fly from California to North Carolina like twice a week. Gosh.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But
man, talk about missing classes.
Oh God. Yeah. But I want to ask you a quick question. At least with North Carolina, and I hate that JT's not here because I imagine he would definitely have a pretty good opinion about this. But with Bill Belichick and the current situation that's going on with their coaching staff and just all the pure disappointment, the lack of acknowledgement, there's really no discipline. You know what I mean? And this was obviously a big issue coming into this season that a lot of NFL people had, especially the Patriots organization. They kind of were warning a little bit, you may not want this.
I can't believe Bill Belichick blacklisted the Patriots.
Yeah, that was kind of a petty move.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to ask y'all, and I think they're coming off a bye. Yeah, they're coming off a bye week. So I wanted to ask y'all extremely. And Cal, and they've got 2. This is a decent game. Cal's 4-1. And then they got Virginia next week at home, which that may get bad. Do y'all see Bill Belichick making it to the end of this season? If Duke I'm talking not Duke. If North Carolina just completely blanks the rest of this year, do y'all see him even making it to the end?
Does he have to him retire or him get fired? Because he's got
I'm talking. It may be a fired situation.
He's gonna get fired. I don't see him doing another season. I think this is his last run. College was not the thing for him one bit. Good NFL coach.
It's a place that spends money. I think it's about the NIL. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how much North Carolina spends on their NIL, but obviously it was definitely disappointing. You go in.
And I also
has anybody seen the Sean Payton movie where he coaches his kids' football team?
Yes.
That. They didn't win the championship, but you have one of the greatest NFL coaches. And it's more great coaches bring the best out of the players, but when your players aren't the best,
I agree.
It's still
I agree.
So I think it's a little combination of both. I don't think he should be coaching really at all. He's I don't think his style of coaching definitely doesn't replicate to college, and I just don't think it's as good as style now with these college players making millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think we're losing the hard-headed coaches play style. I mean, the way I think of it is we're losing the Mike Tomlins, the Bill Belichick.
I think that's why Saban retired.
Saban, all these guys that it's my way or the highway. We're kind of losing those guys to the analyticals, to the guys who are open. A lot of player coaches are coming into or former players, so it's no longer my way or the highway types of coaches.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously this year was a good example of that. In my opinion, one of the greatest developing college football coaches, and Mike Gundy. Now he wasn't necessarily as much of a kind of like my way or the highway, but he was very much an old school in terms of he wanted those 2 to 3 star cats that were very under recruited and ended up becoming pretty decent NFL guys. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Emmanuel Ogbah is a really good example of that. A guy that was like a 1 star that turned into a somewhat decent NFL guy. And obviously James Washington, Des Bryant, James Blackman, even though he didn't really do much in the NFL. I mean, a lot of really good guys. And yeah, I think coaching is slowly started to, and I'm so thankful that Tech got Joey, because Joey fully embraces it. And he's made it very well known that he is a player's coach. Like, he does have that. It kind of helps him too, being from high school ranks. So he's able to kind of also have the discipline side, but also know at the end of the day that, these are still kids for the most part, even though they're getting paid like pros. And a lot of players respect that. And that's why we're seeing programs like Tech kind of flourish, even with obviously, and very obviously, I want it to be known, the money aspect. But yeah, I think the relationships that he's built with some guys have been huge. So let's move on to Saturday, right? Saturday is a very good slate of games. To kick it off at 11 a.m., a little 11 a.m. slate, we got some really good games. The most notable, at least in my opinion, is LSU at Vandy, with Vandy being 1.5 favorites in this game.
In Nashville.
So obviously, AJ, very known Vandy supporter. What kind of your thoughts for this game?
I'm going Vandy all the way. They're coming off a loss to Alabama, but I think they looked very competitive against Alabama. I don't see it as too bad. I mean, I think Alabama's a better team. Don't get me wrong. Bama was the better team in every way, but I think this was, to me, all right, I want to see if you are a joke and you're just beating up on really bad teams and you're just doing really well, or are you an actual team I can take serious and be like, oh, Vandy's no longer the fun joke of the SEC. And I think they finally did that last week with Alabama. They fought them close. They only lost by 2 scores. Of course, Bama's coming off that revenge game last year where you upsetted them at home, at your own home, when you were unranked and they were ranked first. So I'm just glad to see Vanderbilt. And now that the media and everybody's giving them favorites to win LSU, this is going to be a good matchup. With it being in Nashville, it might help out the Vanderbilt, but I still think LSU and their defense could probably stop Diego. But, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, their leading rusher right now is still Diego, which I don't like. Your quarterback should not be your leading rusher in any scenario.
Sam, I saw you had a little reaction. How are you feeling going into this game?
I can see it get ugly quick. I can see it.
Yeah.
And they've it's great. Like their best win, South Carolina with Sellers getting hurt, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think South Carolina's that good either.
They put up 70 on Georgia State. I'll give them that. I don't care how bad your opponent is. Putting up 70 in college ranks are still really impressive.
Yeah, I'll give them that, but I absolutely clown this LSU team. Like, when they were ranked 3 or 4, like they looked horrible when we saw them lose that game to Ole Miss. I don't see how Vanderbilt's favored in this game. We could see it getting ugly. It's an 11 o'clock game. I'm not sure how good the Vanderbilt home field advantage is. I know they had been doing renovations. I still think they are. So I think that stadium, they're a baseball school. Really, they're
just
to get into education.
Yeah. Just to give y'all a little bit of a throwback to the last time LSU went on the road to Nashville back in the year of 2019. Very notable year that was, and kind of for the crowd, to give a crowd comparison, LSU pretty much took over that stadium. Now, obviously, Vandy's a lot better of a program than it was then, but I definitely think it's going to probably be kind of like a Tech Houston situation where it's going to be about 65-35, in my opinion, with LSU probably favoring in it. Now, one thing
I don't know.
to
That's
keep
still a
in mind,
drive
too,
for LSU because they're in South Louisiana. So
dude, they travel.
I'm aware of that, but I'm also at the same time I'm like, with Nashville doing well right now, I could see Nashville as a city popping out.
But
And
see, the thing is, though,
they don't even have the
a lot of
Titans to
their
root for
fans-
right now.
You said what?
I said they don't even have the Titans to root for right now. So like
They haven't for a while.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think the fan base could be like, oh look, our one Nashville team's doing bad, the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and root for Vanderbilt, who's ranked? I could see
Don't they have a hockey team?
Vanderbilt going.
Yeah, they got the Preds. Well, the Preds are they're kind of bad this year, so I don't.
Preds are in a weird
I
spot.
don't
right
follow
now.
hockey like that, so.
Yeah.
Preds spend a lot of money and cannot figure out how to get those players to work when they spend the money.
Yeah. One thing for LSU though this weekend that is a pretty big detail and is part of the reason why Vandy is favored in this game. Garrett Nussmeier is like barely even healthy enough to play, and also Whit Weeks. He's expected to warm up in this game and try to play, but he was in a boot last week. So right now he's currently doubtful for the Tigers, which is huge. I mean, he's arguably their best player on defense. So I think that's also added into it. But yeah, I don't really see LSU struggling in this game. The fact that they're coming off, I think, a bye week, maybe. I think it was.
They played someone last week.
Let's see.
South Carolina. Yeah, they play South Carolina at home. Yeah, so I think they're going to – and they only beat them by 10. I think they're going to want to prove themselves a little bit more. I really like LSU's backup quarterback, Michael Van Buren. If he has to come in, yeah, he started for Mississippi State last year and did pretty decent. So it'll be an interesting matchup, but I'm going to go Tigers with you, Sam. I don't think it's really going to be – I think it'll be close. I definitely don't think it'll be a blowout game, but I think LSU will get it going. Now, another game, ACC game, and once again, wish JT was here for this because this is his team. Number 12, Georgia Tech, going to Durham to take on Duke. It's 11 a.m. kickoff. It's going to be early. Teams are going to be sleepy. What are y'all's thoughts on this? AJ, Sam, either one of y'all?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna let AJ go. I don't care. I could talk to.
Yeah, I'm not big onto the Georgia Tech scene. Just because they're ranked and on Duke, I don't really pay. I'll be honest. ACC is the last of the big four I pay attention to, so I'm gonna trust JT with his Georgia Tech and say they go to Duke and end up winning. But I was just looking up see who else is coming up. We got Oklahoma playing South Carolina, which I want to see what Oklahoma looks like now. Mason, you texted me about Kent State versus Toledo. That's just a fun rivalry matchup coming up this week.
Yes, bro. Yes. I can't wait to watch that game.
But I think out of the 11 to 1 o'clocks, that I don't think we have any other really huge games. But
really.
Looking at the 2 o'clock session, though, we do have Ole Miss versus Georgia, which I think isn't. I'm assuming that's the game day pick.
Day.
Yep, that's the game day pick. So,
Yeah.
what do y'all think on Ole Miss versus Georgia?
Ooh, mother. I think Ole Miss is going to get exposed this weekend, especially the fact that Georgia's going to be pissed as can be, especially after that Bama loss. I know they barely escaped Auburn after a few questionable calls that should have. Yeah, apparently, guys, this is just clapping hands, just so y'all know. So if you ever see this by a coach, it is not a timeout. He's just clapping his hands.
Yeah.
But
what are you talking about? That was a clap.
He said he was trying to clap or he was trying to do something instead of calling a timeout. Yeah, it was definitely not Kirby's best look either. But
all right, hold on. I'm going to mute myself and because I just got a message from my mother that said call me. So I'll let you guys just be here real quick. I always love seeing that message.
So no, you're good. All right, so just keep it brief. I think Georgia's gonna have a bounce back week. I think once again they're not gonna score a ton of points. They're not gonna be, putting up 30 or 40. But I do think they're gonna dominate Ole Miss, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and how bad Ole Miss did look on offense, and the fact they also gave up 20 points to a Wazoo team that has just been horrendous this year. So I'm gonna go Georgia. Sam, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, Washington State, dude, they might win their conference. You can't
exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me put a little more respect on them.
They could be the Pac-2 conference champions.
Yeah, I mean,
that game was rough, and
it was
Lane
bad.
Kiffin taking shots at his own fan base. Saying goal line offense showed up just like our student section.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. That's bad.
Yeah, it was.
That is bad.
There's not a lot of people there, but it's hard to get college kids, especially if you're an SEC school, to get out there at an 11 o'clock game against supposed to your. I don't know how many. It was like 30. It was like 30 or so, I think.
Yeah,
or 20
they were
point
30.
favorites.
They were 32.5 point favorites going into that game.
Okay.
Just giving you the official line.
What game we talking about? Old Miss.
Yeah, their game last week.
Cool.
I want to say they were down 10 at one point, or maybe
14. They were down by a
like,
touchdown.
Yeah,
they were down by a touchdown. That was the most they were down by
for a while. There was a good. It was just weird. It was weird.
See.
Yeah, it's. Let's move on since we covered that game. Obviously it being the biggest game of the week. Outside of that, we have A&M at Arkansas, which Arkansas looked really good last week at Tennessee. As much as I don't like Bobby Petrino as a person, he's a pretty damn good offensive-minded head coach. And A&M, being A&M, we know how they are when it comes to big games. Typically, they're kind of like a Penn State where they're always going to be on the opposite side. Now, A&M is only 7.5 point favorites going into this game. So, AJ, since you weren't able to talk, a little bit ago, what are you thinking of this A&M Arkansas game?
I like A&M. I generally I think they're a good team. Arkansas, of course, struggling. Am I crazy? Did they fire their coach, or is he on the hot seat?
Yeah, they fired him.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They fired him.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, of course, coach is firing. Only win this season, of course, is against Arizona State. But they were close against Tennessee, looking at the thing last week. But A&M's they beat everybody that's been in front of them, every ranked opponent. Confused the crap out with Florida. Florida's been the trap team of the year, but still came out and won on that game. I want to remember if that game was close at a certain point.
No, A&M Florida was never.
Oh, I thought it was close going into the fourth quarter. I couldn't remember.
It was like 7 at some points.
At the end of the first, it was like
Lagway still played good though. We're still on the Lagway train.
I felt bad for him. He had a moment on the sidelines where he pretty much was like, I think he mouthed, if I remember correctly, "What are we calling?" Which I think Billy Napier is going to be gone after this weekend. I don't think he makes it to Monday, but
it was 24-17 entering the fourth quarter. So yeah, and then they ran away with it in the fourth quarter.
It was a close game. Because I'm in on the Lagway hype. He might be out of there. We'll say he might be gone.
No, I assume so.
Depends. If Napier if they fire him and Lagway's like, hey, I want this guy. Maybe he stays.
He's a Texas kid, mind you.
Let's see. Any other games this week? We got Texas Tech versus ASU. I assume everybody's going Texas Tech, even though ASU probably could be a weird one for us, but I think we're all pretty confident in our own team.
My biggest worry though, I think we should at least talk about Tech a little, and then we'll just glance over the rest because there's not any major games after that.
Well, hold on.
Tech's really the last one.
Alabama, Tennessee. I'm just gonna say them. Alabama and Tennessee, and then the Holy Battle, Holy Wars or whatever it's called, the Holy Bowl.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that. That's a
yeah.
It's gonna be. I'm guessing it's 9 or something.
Game.
7:00.
It's a primetime. It's a primetime game.
Yep, 7:00. So
7:00 on Fox.
Yep. So after Tech, we're all gonna be watching the Holy War, the Holy Bowl.
Yes, I will be strapped in watching that.
Yep.
But back to Tech,
yep.
Obviously, because I feel like this is a good kind of way to end it. Man, this is going to be a crazy game. As we all saw, there was a monsoon that went through ASU over the weekend and apparently tore up their turf to a good amount and kind of hurt their stadium a little. So that's something that kind of worries me in terms of the fact that we just lost Skylar earlier today for the season.
Yeah.
Which kind of hurts.
Was the report a successful surgery? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, he had
Okay,
surgery
cool.
today in Dallas.
It's surgery, and that
Or
he could
yesterday,
be back
so.
for the playoff.
Yeah.
If we were to
But
get there.
yeah, but like game wise aside though, Sam Levitt expected to be back for ASU. Obviously hurt them last week. Not having them, their offense was pretty inept at doing anything. So y'all's thoughts of going up against a very mobile quarterback like Sam Levitt. You know, we contained Jalen Daniels pretty well, but obviously not having a guy right up the middle like Skyler definitely is going to hurt a little in terms of containing the inside. So, you know, what are y'all's thoughts going up against a guy like that?
See, the difference with that I'm thinking of is we lost Skylar in the first quarter and we were still able to hold down Jalen. So I assume a week to game plan, knowing that you're going to lose Skylar for the rest of the year, is going to help, is going to keep that D-line uptight and pinpoint perfect. I don't see Levitt having much problems, especially since Levitt's coming off an injury. Not sure what his injury was. But since he was coming off an injury, it's not going to be doing it. It was what?
I got you. I think it was a
leg injury.
Yeah.
He practiced that week, like the Utah week, because I saw him. If y'all saw the clip of Kenny Dillingham like spraying water on his hands, and you were like, he already has the ball. It's not going to do anything. Like, it was just funny. I think.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one at the top of the pack. Like, you're the one. Usually text the hunter. Now you're the huntee. Like, it could be a little scary, and D-line is it's so good. Even losing Skyler,
we got
Hunter, it's two guys basically.
I think
Lee Hunter's a big dude.
Yeah. Real quick,
in fact, like,
what's the update on Barron? Anybody know?
What?
What's the update on Barron?
He's game time.
Game time
decision.
How you should always have
injuries.
You should never tell them if you're gonna play. Make them game plan for both, because Barron and Will have two drastically different play styles when it comes to.
I will say though, for this game. Oh, sorry, Sam. I think we were about to say the same thing, but
you go.
Okay. I was about to say, with Barron being pretty, and I once again, he already re-aggravated it last week. I do not want to see him end up just being out for the year. I say go Will, because I was watching some highlights of the ASU-Utah game a little bit earlier before we started this, and dude, Will Hammond and Devon Dampier are very similar in the way they play, in terms of they're mostly going to be on the ground using their legs. And Devon Dampier had a field day against ASU's defense. Now, mind you, ASU's defense is pretty much untouched. They're still the same. There's no really big injuries or anything like that. If I'm Joey, I'm saving Barron this week, and I'm going Will. I mean, especially, weather permitting, obviously. I think it's supposed to be sunny, so it'll be good. But, I would go Will. You need somebody mobile for this game, and we don't need to expose them over the air, because they have some pretty decent DBs, but they're like front seven, very beatable. And the fact that we're going to have a healthy Cam, we're going to have a healthy Jacoby. There's always Adam Hill in case one of them does get banged up. I mean, this should be easily a 300-yard game in terms of rushing yardage, easily for us. And Sam, I'll let you talk, because I know you were about to make a similar point. But
yeah, Barron thing is, you never want to, especially since the same calf injury he had week 1. If when Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles, like, that is one of the happens so much in the NBA, especially when guys have a calf injury and they rush it back. Like, it happened to Dame, it happened to Jason Tatum, and it happened to Halliburton in Game 7. Yep. You rush back the calf, then the Achilles just goes. And for a quarterback that has aspirations to go play at the next level like Barron does, Achilles tear in your senior season, you're losing a whole year of footage. You can't the combine a year later if you go to it, and then so it's just something like the drop off between Barron and Will is minimal from what we've seen so far this season. And to Mason's point, I think that the ground game, no one has been able to stop Tech on the ground, which is crazy, because told me that 10 years ago, I would laugh that we had somebody who rushed for almost 300
Yeah.
yards last week.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like the offensive line, besides some, again, the Utah game, the pre-snap penalties, the offensive line has looked spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I agree.
I-
100%.
The amount of pull blocks we run, it's beautiful. The tight ends block, it's John Carlos Miller and Terrence, they're out there and they're blocking. It's beautiful to see well-run offense that's not just our run game is going to be we're going to throw screen passes.
Yes,
that's kind of the identity we had 5 years ago is we're not going to run the ball. We're going to throw a screen pass and we're going to hope it works.
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
it's a whole different story. It works really well. So.
I agree. AJ, your thoughts going into this?
I don't know. I'm just afraid this could be one of those trap games just because you're going to ASU and call it good team. And I think if you don't play Barron, you will be a little iffy just because when Will came in versus Kansas, it was very slow in the second and third quarter. He got it clicking in the fourth quarter, which is all that matters. But I would just say be careful. We need to be careful. Don't go in expecting a 90-point win. It may be a little closer than we like, but I still think we walk out on ASU and Tempe with the win.
Yeah. I also just kind of want to add one little last thing before we do go. A thing that's not getting talked about enough this week, at least this weekend, is the fact of Jordan Tyson, ASU's their wide receiver 1. Our DBs have looked very much improved. I love Bryce and what he's been doing so far this year. He's been an amazing corner. In my opinion, should easily be a second or third team all Big 12 guy for defense. I mean, he's been pretty locked down. But Jordan Tyson is a cat that is slowly trying to sneak his way into being a day one pick. And he's done pretty darn he's done pretty darn good of doing it outside of the Utah game, which is no fault of his own. They were playing pretty much a running back at quarterback in Jeff Sims. So, I think one thing that we as Tech fans need to really, really be kind of cautious for is especially in the pass game for ASU because they know they're not going to be able to run the ball like they did in previous weeks against TCU or anybody else like that. They've got a good running back in Malik Brown, the USC transfer from a few years ago, and he's had a pretty good year so far, one of the better backs in the Big 12. But, yeah, I mean, the passing game is going to be huge for ASU if they want to beat us because they're not going to get it on the ground. They won't. But passing-wise, I mean, that's what kind of scares me a little. And then also just, offensively, I don't want us to become too one-dimensional, if the run game is being so dominant, they can't stop it like it was against Kansas, just keep it going. Yeah. But one thing with ASU and one thing with Kenny Dillingham, they will make adjustments. TCU found that out when they choked a 17-point lead to them, right? So one thing is you got to be cautious. You got to be on your toes. This is, like AJ said, this is a pretty big trap game, despite obviously ASU being a little bit banged up and us being a little bit banged up as well. And, I'm just glad, like Sam said, we do have an O-line finally, one that's pretty reliable. We also have some really good depth behind the starters. We have a couple of MAC transfers that have been pretty decent. Vinny Scurry started a game last year before he got banged up, even though he's not starting right now for us. So this is going to be a really fun game. I can't wait. It's going to be a good uniform matchup. I'm really excited for that with ASU dropping their throwbacks and then us wearing all red besides the helmet. So, any final thoughts, y'all, before we go?
No, I think we've hit everything for me. Sam, you good?
Yeah, well, I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I get to sleep in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know showing up at the stadium at 2.
That would be nice.
2 o'clock for a 6 o'clock game where we sit there for 4 hours before the game even starts.
Yeah. The road game it's our bye week.
Yeah.
As fans.
Pretty much.
Yep. So
that I don't know how early you're gonna have to get to the game next week, but it feels like you have to get there early.
I think OSU will be fun because it's family weekend and it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. But BYU worries me.
BYU's gonna suck.
Undefeated.
We have 6 o'clock game, and we're gonna have to get there at 3 or 1.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to get there by probably 12 just to get like
right after
decency.
game day. Right after game day.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh God. Well,
after JT kicks the kick on Pat McAfee. So.
Dude, that would be amazing.
hey, I got chosen for the halftime show at soccer and hit the crossbar on the first one. So
I saw that.
That was
like,
impressive, bro. That was,
I was like,
just saying.
I don't
know if I can make it from there.
No. All right.
I wouldn't have done it, but
I think that's what we'll call it for this week. Well, hopefully we'll get you a recap this week or next week after the game.
yes.
Yes. I didn't get
Hopefully
to it
it's a
last
good-
week because I was studying for anatomy. So that the reason we didn't get to it was because of me. So that's all me.
I'll be too.
Yeah.
But I am busy Tuesday night. Rockets basketball season opener.
There you
It
go.
is back, man.
I've been watching Columbus.
Man.
It is back.
That's been me the past few nights. Hockey's back, so I'm enjoying me some hockey every night. But all right, so I think that's what we're calling for this week. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate y'all coming out here,
Thank y'all.
getting on the call with us or getting on the call. So see y'all. We'll end up calling it here. See y'all.